to day 3 of How to Heal When You're Everyone's Healer. I'm TT Gore, and I am excited about us getting together and continuing on this journey. So, yesterday we talked about how the narratives that we've written keep us stuck, and how to take the time out to actually challenge those thoughts and write new stories. Today, we're going to talk about boundaries and how boundaries help us to reinforce that internal work that we're doing. So, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Oh, but wait, before we go, take a moment, please, and subscribe, like, share with somebody you know could use this information. Please, please, please get it to people. We want us to heal together because healed people heal people. All right, let's get started. Boundaries. Okay, so a lot of times people confuse boundaries as thinking of things that I'm not going to stand for this, right? I'm not going to allow someone to treat me this way or that way. When reality is that boundaries are really limits for our behaviors, right? So a rule could be, so there's a difference between boundaries and rules. Rules are towards other people, boundaries are towards ourselves. Rule could be, hey, I don't accept phone calls after 8 p.m., right? The boundary with that is I don't answer my phone after 8 p.m. I purposely put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and that boundary is then enforced. So when you start looking at your life and the things that you tend to say yes to that later you regret, and you're like, I wish I hadn't said that, or you feel guilty because you said yes to it, but you don't want to do it, and now you kind of feel bitter about it and have a negative attitude. The reality is, we have our boundaries put in place so that we're able to say a purposeful yes. I say all the time, if you say an intentional no, nope, can't do that. Nope, I'm sorry, I might not be able to attend that. Nope, that's not something that a task that I can take on right now. That allows for you to say purposeful yes. Yes, I would love to do that. Yes, that's something that I'm passionate about, or yes, that's something that I feel deeply that I should support. It allows for us to be not just intentional, but it helps us to guide and go towards the directions that we truly want to be in. And oftentimes we find ourselves much more joyful, much more happier when we're able to align ourselves with the things that we truly desire to be a part of. The other thing about saying no is it's easier to come back from a no than it is to rescind a yes, right? So if I say no to you, I say no, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. And later on, I'm like, I think I could make it. I think I feel like I have that energy. And I call and say, hey, if the offer is still open, I can make it. That sounds a lot different than me saying, hey, yep, I can come. Yep, I'll be there. And then all of a sudden, I can't, right? I don't think I'm going to make it. Now, there are times when that absolutely happens. And there are times where you're going to absolutely have to employ that technique. But a lot of times, if we started out with really being intentional and in searching on whether or not that boundary that I have is being put in place, we don't have to rush and try to make amends for things that we later on feel sorry for. And that removes the guilt that a lot of people feel around saying no. Well, people are just going to think I'm a big B because I'm always saying no. They'll get over it. For real, they will. Because you'll start aligning yourself with people, places, things, and ideas that you truly desire, that truly light you up, that make you passionate. So when you're thinking about your boundaries today, as you're going through the worksheet, I really want you to kind of identify some places where I have been saying yes, whether that's to family. Sometimes we do that a lot with family. We just, yep, it's my mama said, my sister called, I gotta say yes. No, but you don't. You really don't. You really don't. And when you betray yourself by saying yes when you want to say no, you start lacking trust in yourself. It's another conversation for another day. We're going to get into it. But when we begin to say things that we truly don't mean and we begin to really relax our boundaries, we are betraying ourselves. And it creates a space in which we don't trust ourselves, and we don't trust ourselves to be safe with our own decision making. And so boundaries serve as, I call it, the doorman, right? Do you have G14 clearance to be able to get through this door? It's important that we utilize our boundaries to really not just make ourselves safe, but make the people around us safe by not creating drama, not creating a toxic situation because I really don't want to be there. My emotions are now all over the place. Not creating anxiety, not creating, spaces where we get triggered because we have become unaligned. Your boundaries are like guardrails on, a roller coaster, or guardrails going down the highway. They keep you from running off the pathway that you have desired to be on. So today, quickly take some time, I shouldn't say quickly, but sit with your worksheet and really think about, where do I need to tighten up these boundaries? And what does that look like? And then even practice how you may employ those. What does that look like? Especially for my friends that tend to be people pleasers or recovering people pleasers, or those who, don't like conflict. How do you say these things in order to be able to employ your boundaries? If you need help with that, of course, always reach out, drop some comments. We can answer questions, all of the above. But today, I hope that you take the time out to know that your boundary is actually a form of sacred self-love. If you love yourself, you're going to make sure you do what's best for yourself. Until next time, I'll see you guys tomorrow.